Omar, what do you think now on our education sector? Hence, you've, discussed or you've, stated that the first problem is our education sector. So, what do you think should be done? To ensure that, the Gambia move forward because 59 years now, still, education is a problem in this country.
Right. Thank you very much. I will, I would like to say this in our native languages for the benefit of those that cannot speak the Queen's language. So Assalamu alaikum. Ibrahim Abaraka Bakela nyen karo kumaya babel. Sayang ala nyen karo minti al min fani angale kono wala dol nyanta ka minege min nyanta ka taraji min bati na ko karamundal to mi alon ko wala be lola na banko e ka de ko ni banko lafta min na way taraji follow akumaya badal pro moyen long wala banko dia la longo bakara wala bala andung mbeyala nako banko dia mun sembol ndemu banko dingoldi o tamo la nga sembol so na banko ka bari sanye nyinin karoke fo na mol karandi la banko dia la karamongal la ba aka kala ba just recently la nga ko ye civic education introduced in senior schools. Civic education nyanda ka commence hani nursery school or even kindergarten. Let them start knowing muna nyanta ka kabri to lo jama wodindi ya jama. So ni ya commence wokera ye civic educational rundown. Nakara wolkera num kabring 59 years ago, then the country will have been something else today. But in Gamodol the Mianko world they are serving in our public offices. Some of them do not even know what they are doing. Yamalo mine CJ. Yamalo mine nyanta ka keje. Ito lab lodu la mene de la tamandir nan mene. But sa ndani wobe kala ngaje ko adda akumaya bada la puru man sakunda ning ila drenyo mali bulo du nyole ye ya kata ye civic education mi ko aka mol karangi la nanto la banko dingol ya sama na hani kindergarten level banko dingol ya karan kabiri bo do yari mato minna ina eta upper basic school eta senior school eta secondary school or even university level no but aji akumaya bada la puru nim banko moye mol karande fenna mi yalan passé nafa nda bala fa wara bata nim banko kay ning dole educational system o ya simple 59 years ago ya simple ko you have to be job seekers not job creators nda bala fa wara bata ngamol to nim banko kan mi yalan ko kabir man sakunda e tong wol ndol be la da ko mi wol karanta bol buka dogu keno foka sile sai ka man sakunda bata na do ko dire ajarta wol yela fang yela integrity wa fi man sakunda ma no it's not a laughing issue amanga jela ko it's serious. So khairen de ko educational system woni nyanda ka falling yemol karandi kula mi yalon ko ase na fano sama. What is happening? Kunun ko I was at the national dialogue. They were talking about ebe diam kamina wala youth empowerment. President be siring min ka amam nyim banko ka. Fanyim banko mo kabindal man daga mezo siring ci fada. Ba muna tinna o man rakake. Iki fo nyin ka wala muna tinna o man rakake ka. So na karamunda nyanda ka falinne. Yeah, mechota ya dundi na karambungol kono.
But now, the ministry said they're empowering what they call TVET education. So, don't you think this is a way forward?
Yes, that is a plus. Maybe Safono ya simfada among full pharmacy akuntuma. Hansaying TVET education better at the senior level also. But saying further dinwal karino mechola ila primary school or the nursery school or deni wala choice ro jela ba e kan yim banko ti mi anko mo killing e kay subject konon e kay woke e kay maths ke english ke science ke integrated studies ke or whatsoever konon da killing among specialized no
kungiling
so abakol ya balal pour na karamol to mi anko laftal pour wala trawal nyam no sifa mom kali kabiri mo dinding e ka maybe a lafta ka kenyene I specialize woka maybe a subject for like or saba or area. Bari sa ngito ko mo kile subject kono ndake wala subject tan eta karamundol to subject tan ngile mo kile andi ga wol be so do credit adi easy la wodi kala no asi e ko sa dia nyaawo nyaa e bo dol felle bari sa ngi fondo la man to kunda e o tifal tal no bang ya kenna because coming on ya fa dame e ko University of the Gambia ka engineering ka bari kabiri ba Senegambia highway de daka the turntable highway that road away. Ye contract contract ñu gameno le bam fama ka gameno e kam minute je wala indian wala wala Chinese even the University of the Gambia mi anon ko university dini wala nyanda ka karanje indian le bo school ni lo abala fa warte sayiti ko 59 years of independence ite mo na so no ñu banko ke nyanda ka mi celebrate all for coming ka foka nga independence celebrate it's not bad but sayiti mo na so mo nyaat no mi jara ka celebrate Minnesota ni banko e Minnesota ni banko mi anon ko ala baluo memba nyim banko ka abe wandi mol lebul bang mol mi anon ko man kan nyim banko di ngene nga fa nene sara dan la dala bu naw nene kene nga fa sara dan la de bu naw lol no khatu bulo min ka diro ke wol fi sara bulo min ka taro ala fa nga wol min ka diro ko wol fi sara min ka taro ke saya kuma badal pour ngade ko niye mol karandi wo metol la o dulal to wo bati nal ko no kol dol be talala de lon sol dol tala no wala de grand sol dol tala no kantu dande mbol tala na mol be mechanism sol na fe la nyal mi nyalan ko wol bo wol tala ko nyinta ka remedi per sai fula ba kerimba so ma fa man sakunda e ko ya kata kata nyaaw kata nyaama ye mol karandi la nyanto la kabiri dindi karamol to na sidulal to na taradulal to aku maya bara musol ni dinol ka bata ba ke ni banko ka kilo se kan ni nyaawnya ni ta rabir ka marchero wala sura kuna marchero ba musol de la dinol ba ko jiba tara ko wala kek apa wa be ka mo tilo kan re nya fena mo laf ke la bu nyaw ko ya mo laf ka mo tol boran fa amara ambo man la fa di ngare ta kar mun ken do we were talking about education bari nga fo ko minister of education both basic and secondary education or higher education. Well, dingol man taka karani karamol. I can get that for free. Well, dingol man taka karanja. But say munati na well dingol man taka karan. Comme ye educational system wala na pe mi alon ko a mantol shoot. Andi tol man la fi dingol ye bata ko bata nya bata gol memin ko. Kunun ko ami boden si so ko lota dulal kala ko. Model they are born with a silver spoon. They are from a humble background. And mobe de karano sama do bula
so wolon ko
tol mi an ko famu sama do wol na ka sama do bula la fa dunya ba what I mean angol ya faja ko agriculture used to be the backbone and agriculture ko do min fonso every year national budget ministry bu kaso but ministry of agriculture kamera ka Banjul e ko ngula jabanjo ko tije ko man dara Banjul kunko be dame Ministry of Agriculture nyanda kara wolto ay tasi jakal pata ay tasi je na wulta so manda nyaka musul la faro jakela bata jabanal ko nyinni nyanda kat in as much as sometimes man manda benna kan kilin ko jawra but food self sufficiency last time nga fajane there are two types of development you have self sufficient and self reliant say andolla nyim banko be mun ta kan nyim fulor ko are we going with self-sufficient or we are going with self-reliant? San kilimandra kata, san kubi daka nyadi le. Banko buka doku no londo koma. Foma sakundai londo invest mol kono. Londo miya ngwa sa banko mo nafa.
For Manzakunda se londo, I mean, first invest a londo, more for nyampo. But I didn't know sell, I want to come for it. I mean, education and empowerment, and of course, I mean, TV education and all other education, I mean, that should be started from primary school level. In fact, at ECD level, to equip, I mean, these, I mean, children, so they will be, I mean, a great individual in the future for our way forward. I mean, saying that for over 59 years, I mean, things are just, I mean, we are just, let me just keep there. So, understand? Okay.
Like, nina bank wala diamu dati. Kami umur fly bem push kan saga. Ka kam fala bari ka umur diamu tom content about. Content about because tajin de ka fem umur ya fa. And I'm happy that coming namu je ndala jang me anko nala mire nya beki. So ka mur ko ma kota ke jawral fa nala ning karambu na fa na ben bolu. Ade nyini ngaro ke sa mun sa kina. So kabin jawral mo jama ka kuno ning mo be nyo sabola aka wolo fo nya ko jawra ma kata. Bayang mang fondement la education lo karo karam la bundal karo nga ko jawra menke kabanara karamu man sia to nya bongo fon resources je tam pour ka man sakona dugulal fon job ka kena ko banam bawdul so jawra o be kato ko la e karamu den ton men bijan wol karamu wol ka karam keno ni bole je fana jaro ada moneki aning top university mi an ko be Angleterre ay wuli nat nan jaw litol ka bo nan di every year sankon ikana jang especially in the summer sama kon ikana je ka fa university essential program UEP jawro program start janne o program mo nyum wole university of the Gambia wulu so kamen jamenata jamme ya lam ko this is a very good program lecturer binaka hani wa taban adara fo university of the Gambia lo wo continue de la ka happen mo flo mi yan ko karanta ji mo sabal ñu kata modol wol foy benefit wo UEP la fana ka ton university of the Gambia so kada ada jamme fana rabul kono wala university la karani folo ada jamme fana tarawol ko so kaje ko dar foundation bi jele jaro min la karamal fana handa tra musal fi am war bari ning masakunda donat masakunda process let do ñu ka continue la ka bo so ka murnang education lando bunda fanna umare me ko dul man rafen karanga gana bi ñu stand fan mi ka jete ñu fana men ka frifil membe lore e ka dara wol fan ka dara ani slim fan ka dara gana electrical appliances ol ni socket ol ni finkol gana ka dara because ila karang bunda le karanda la pour ça de dano gambe jam bi han kan yuntu ka dara e ka je e ka sura pro nawet ni la jare dul tinat nawet engineer balbe de mi an ko karanda university balbe to wala e cool bi ke bari buka man ni buka dara
New question.
So we kaje lay non dul sulta fen na fo nana mbuka dana bi ko education system na karam bundani to wala adiranye kabri bi jawaro mon fansot no yadira mun kam man ya dinna pour ni la ñomu sonya e mansa dingol ning doli ke samba ke karam bi baje la ñomu sonya baje isa marano sonya ring ni tata ila traveling commission ni tamara blog ni tara ji sa motra ji ni manka diam so ya dinna wala kam but Ibrahim ibalo nako ani ko wara ka fako general orders Gambia general orders mi ko tubabu la din hansa wala biti ye e kamdo ko alquran ma di wala bible ma men ko may ne ka do you know ko billahi wallahi tanna wo general orders kono nati je ko hansa bi je ko ning tita beta karam baskulo babu la ning baskulo kata ay kayro sur baskulo ni ka baskulo awanzela tatira dal tasam yene ko dia up to date rent allowance mi ko abiji will be do be 250 lam kemi fatalul wala kemi lul lam wala kemi wor mi an ko tamu wala so be sabu nyaadi na education system ya tuté nyame abolo nya yey ñi nka men na ta tibet la fanna pour ñu bol makal ko den ka karamu to nyala na tare step la mi an ko idea is good Omar bari the implementation will be the problem because right now as I'm speaking then there are some school but school for they are not even equipped with equipment la with trained person teachers la pour ko keno ibajile in the next 10-15 years billahi wallahi the sula mo pour ke bonna banda pour kana ko bloquer moli be keno lo find near education system mo is serious about it but the idea is good about the 20 education policy 2016-2030 what ko ka jibe dina jibe ni ko ya ba eka word balji come 2016 when as hantem education system now we are in the court say we planning in the court am bola konte say jamal tamit bari fem men kete ja down ya ba demban la tibe soto to nyaga kan la ñu kata la ko tam bari ube mun kika anu la tibe fanam fanga sa ye umare ko say be ma ko la jambe tibe lolé ni karni ni par tan be nangam dila eta ka sinon de ka pinda wala e be entrepreneurship kala be e ka cikino poultry dat eta ye lansino di indian wala e ka ko wala le bonisi ka ko e fanko import na kitino say mo ta wasan
Asana.
So masakuna ko sifal la kena ye on mai. So kaje ko disa ismail ko abe mu karambuna ko fon sa faham mel faram ko ko no ya faham. So civic education karola pour banko dungli la banko dialon umare diamu follow la dubola maje wala tan bismaka because umare ko mo be bandisa. So civic education to nya abe dialon pour banko dungli yalon mun banko di yati mu le semboti ani la nyenta kamen ke kunun gombe ngafara baake mbon ko lay tita school na mo jaay ko dum ra fay wunya. So because these are problems me alanko daltala le kamo jakana mudo kana ka fengo fay siloka ike kiba projet me alanko akelo ba fato ba ako sifal so nino ke na banko kanu rwanda mwana ni naranya ila mindset education londo bunda ile wole doku Rwanda be they are the fastest growing economy Africa kono ila kodo fanko le be yirwa ka modbi Rwanda kono be hani la gotas ila jibor silo mo kasi jak akinodo nya wode maya dara sije pour kata mo la haw Rwanda be senari nya sita je akinodo moje so ila traffico ni blota ko no eka jagal silo bebe senyaring abe cleaning mol bebe ke guring baka pipo moy in Rwanda ko ndel jang kunu bala men na traffic ko na sembo ta back
Absolutely.
mol be ko sifa break dem because of the mindset because na karam bunda so mol ka memfo civic education abedat but ni na di ka sama senior school serious school wonte yenda ka samba to the formative age no nibe mental
Hakilo
wata
dali-
hakilo be fagi do ka waram ya dum di ko baji in next 15 years be gambia dengol soto mi ko ni bonko jarale bari bi ndani te ni not jarale so jël mi ko ye 10 million lay over something na ku la mi ko praji ndole no so ni ata man jere te mari ite be banko ba fal ngo mo be wol o mindset le bentul be ko sai pour ye fenna mi ka ni ka wogle ni ka sama de formative age dinnu la ya karan ba ni ka tagge soto in 10-15 years
Things will change.
isa fensul mi ko metti ko jam fakane bari comme content da fam wala ngam ko because Umar I'm very happy so men dan na jang content da fam Umar
Absolutely. So, Mr. Sidibe, I mean, Omar and Kudugo, I mean, have already delved into the matter of like, I mean, the way forward of having, I mean, schools, and not only having the schools, but having, I mean, plans put in place to ensure that, I mean, these things, I mean, are things of the past now. So now, to shift from the educational, I mean, sector. Now, Mr. Sidibe, what do you have to say in our economic, I mean, aspect since, I mean, 1965?
Anyways, I had wanted to comment on education.
Okay, absolutely. You might do that.
Before I answer the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, first and foremost, it's good to air our views. And it's also good to listen to one another. You know, even though you would not like what you listen. Because great people or great leaders are those that listen to things that they do not want to hear. Not only things that are pleasing to the ear. And Omar mentioned something very important, that is civic education to be employed in our school system, and that it is even employed, but only the senior secondary level. This should have been done earlier, in fact, even at primary school also. Very important. But if you look at that civic education also, to learn and to implement, these are two different things. What I observe in my simplistic thinking or in my simplistic observation is Gambians, we learn a lot, we read. What I mean, we read, I don't mean to read like avid readers, I mean, but we read. We tend to understand things, but to do things becomes problematic. We have people that even if you employ this civic education in our school system, they will not still do what is being taught at school system. And that is another problem. So for me, I think is the attitudinal change. We should not consider anything that is government is bad. For the fact that you hate that person doesn't mean anything that they do is bad. If they do something that is good, you should also acknowledge. All right? So, but here, if you speak the truth, sometimes even the government, they can even categorize you as an opposition or something. And they would isolate you because of speaking the truth. Now, if you lie, they'll promote you, they can fix you somewhere. You understand? All these are problems that we are facing. But for me, the educational sector, I want to see it differently. Because I always want to be impartial when I'm talking. Yes. For the educational sector, I see it as something that, is kind of promising. Let me put it that way. Because I'll never say we haven't learned anything. Yeah, because we have seen people, Gambians, that have been doing great job from international level. Most of these people, they pass through Gambian schools. I can give you names like, even Esafal, for example, he was a student, Gambia, it's St. Augustine, we have Peter Gomez, the list goes on. We have great Gambians who are doing things outside, okay, doctors and all those, they pass through our school system. So whatever, even doctors, yeah, so it is not entirely bad, okay? And I think for the school system, what we need to do is, we need to practice things. Whatever is learned, let us implement. If you see something, sometimes you'll be teaching, a student will be eating something and they'll drop something. And there is dustbin somewhere. If we learn what it means to be nationalistic or what it means to be patriotic, if you are done with something, you should pick it. You go and put it at the dustbin. Nobody should tell you this is wrong, this is bad. But we are behaving the way that we feel, even though we know this is bad. So this would be my comment for the educational sector, that it is not entirely bad, but again, there are a lot of things that we need to do.
Absolutely.
Yes. And what was the other
For the economic aspect now, I mean, our economic, standard since 1965. So, what do you have to say about our economy? Is it promising, or I mean, is there any changes from Jawara's regime to Jammeh's regime down to, our current regime now?
I'm a young guy, but I read a lot, anyways. Yeah, I read Jawara because I know I was not. I did not witness anything about Jawara's regime, but I read something about it. Now, history tells us that Jawara's time was very good. At the time when Dalasi was equal to a pound, we were told about that. $1, $1, $1, £1. That was the exchange rate. Jawara's time. So many things were good. These basic commodities were very cheap. Survival, especially for basic commodities, was not a problem. Now, Jammeh came in. Jammeh accused Jawara of corruption, tribalism, and other things. My problem is Jammeh became what he condemned.
Absolutely.
Yes, about this tribalism, corruption, because there was official findings and it was confirmed that Jammeh also was involved in corrupt practices and his accomplices. All right? The same trend continues before Barrow steps in. He had been condemning Mr. Jammeh. That, Jammeh is a bad leader, this and that, corruption here and there. And we are all witnessing what is happening. There are some radical commentators, they say, in fact, the degree of corruption right now outweighs the former regimes, both Jammeh's regime as well as Jawara's regime. So you see the problem. Why is it that our attitude, or our real attitude, changes when we get to that house, state house? What is the problem? Barrow came from humble beginning, from my region, Upper River region. We so many things are happening. As a leader, you have to stand firm. Speak the right thing, even though they will not cherish it, they will not appreciate it. If something is wrong, even though the person is your closest friend, you have to tell the person the truth.
Absolutely.
So the economic level for me, I see it as it is, in fact, it's not realistic, because every time you hear economic minister say Gambia's GDP has improved from so percent to so percent, is this realistic? This is my problem. We are struggling. Bag of rice every day, or every month. Over time, this keeps increasing. Okay, the price of basic commodities, they keep increasing, and you are telling me GDP has increased. What type of economy is that? So these are the things that we need to understand. Is it the type of economy that they were taught? Because for me, if you say something is improving, it should reflect on the ordinary citizen. But if that's not reflecting, what is the essence of that improvement here and there? So that's why for me, this GDP here and there is not reflecting on our daily survival. We are still struggling. You have to go in the streets, just like alluded by my colleague here, to see how people are struggling. You have to just go to the streets, go to the markets. That's the time, really, people are struggling in this country. And I think the best way to do this, we also need to change our attitudes, because what I observe, most Gambians, we become muted when we are empowered. Like right now, I'm talking. God forbid, I don't know, because I can only talk about the present. The future, I don't know. But sometimes when I'm employed, when I'm empowered, if I'm not somebody who is morally strong, then all these things that I've been talking, I'll stop talking. Then I'll join the team. Whatever they do is good now, because now I'm empowered. Now I have been given that opportunity to claim a particular role that I feel is far better than what I used to be. So I think what we need to do, when somebody is doing something wrong, or when something is wrong, we should all come out and condemn it. It is not good to keep quiet. To keep quiet will never take any country anywhere. We have to talk and we react. We make sure our actions are in consonance with our words. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, critics will say that in this country, the people who are capable of changing things are the people who join, the bandwagon of people who are just, stopping this country. They're not even trying to, but they're stopping the country from progressing at most times. So that is a concern. And what you mentioned most is very important. That is like our attitudes. We have to change our attitudes. We have to be realistic for what we mean. What we are saying, do we really mean what we are saying? It's quite important. So I think we also have to put this thing in place to know that not only what we are saying, but what we are saying, do you really mean it? You, the person saying it.